G'day and welcome to ReDriven. Now, the hot hatch, blending practicality and performance since the 1970s, but these days, which ones are the cream of the crop? Well look, before we answer that, let's set some ground rules first. These cars had to be internationally and readily available, and thanks to the US not exactly embracing how awesome a hot hatch can be, there are a load of brilliant cars that just didn't make the cut. So, thanks to North America, the various Renault Clio and Megane RS models, the Audi S1, the BMW M135i, and a whole host of other cars, they don't make the list. Secondly, the budget is 30,000 Australian dollars because we figure that because cars are generally more expensive here in Australia versus, say, the US and the UK, while these cars offer phenomenal value for money here in Australia, over there, they can be bargains. Finally, look, all of these cars are superb in their own way, but for this list, we're going to conveniently ignore any of their mechanical or reliability issues. Look, none of them are lemons by any means, but some of them do have a temperamental reputation. Also, as always with our top 5 lists, this isn't just our opinion. We've reached out to a whole bunch of experts like automotive journalists, driving instructors, owners groups, even mechanics and engineers, and this is the culmination of all of their opinions. So if you don't like the list, please don't scream at me. Anyway, here are the top 5 hot hatches under 30 grand. Kicking things off, and it's something a little bit left of centre. It's the Abarth 595 Competizione. The great news is that with some savvy classifieds searching and some serious haggling on the price, you should be able to pick up even a 2019 595 Competizione for around about this $30,000 budget. What you'll end up with is a true pocket rocket drenched in impeccable Italian styling that offers both a truly unique and engaging driving experience. Okay, it might not be a true rocket ship in terms of straight line performance, but with such a short wheelbase, the powertrain's awesome soundtrack, and constant and copious amounts of character and charisma, the moment you start ploughing through some corners, any lack of power credentials are instantly forgotten. Okay, look, a hot hatch technically should offer as much practicality as it does performance, and the 595 isn't exactly the most spacious of vehicles inside, but flip those rear seats down and the little Italian can swallow a surprising amount of stuff. And look, yes, these things do have a interesting reputation when it comes to mechanical reliability, but as I said at the start of this video, we're just going to ignore that until we review one. Offering another completely unique driving experience, but in a completely different way, it's the second generation Mazda 3 MPS, or Mazda Speed 3. Why unique? Well look, when you try to pump 196 kilowatts and 380 newton meters through the front wheels of any car, hilarity will ensue. Even when Mazda tried to get all of that power to the ground by throwing a torque-sensing conical limited slip diff and a host of suspension mods at it. Critics claim that the weapons-grade Mazda 3 is just a blunt instrument, guilty of horrendous torque steer, a lack of dynamic refinement, and it just doesn't possess the polish of many of its competitors. But we argue it's all of that that gives the Mazda its unique position amongst all hot hatches. While manufacturers are determined to tune out turbo lag and torque steer, it's exactly these characteristics that make the Mazda so much fun to drive. Almost like you're trying to control some wild animal determined to drag you wildly down the road. Mix this with the fact that the 3 is still an ultra-practical 5-door hatchback with a comfy interior. Being a Mazda, it's built like a tank, and the fact that cars like this surely aren't going to exist for much longer, it all adds up to the fact that this Japanese hatch is totally worthy of this list. Okay, a little bit like the Mazda, this next car is getting a little bit long in the tooth, but we argue that with the prices that these things are going for now, they offer phenomenal hot hatch bang for your buck. It's the 3rd generation Subaru WRX STI. Our first all-wheel drive offering turns up the wick on the performance credentials substantially, while still offering all the practicality of the Impreza's 5-door hatch body. And speaking of the body, who doesn't love some pumped wheel arches? Pumping out around about 220 kilowatts and 400 newton meters, the Subaru hatch gets all of that power to the ground, tearing it through the corners thanks to its symmetrical all-wheel drive system, Subaru's intelligent drive, and multi-mode driver-controlled center differential. Plus, the STI was never intended just for consumer consumption. Giving the WRX a decent chunk of street cred is the fact that these things, with only a few minor modifications, still actively compete in rally championships all over the world. Then there's the fact that, while look, it is a genuine hot hatch even when standard, Throwing on a few suspension upgrades, helping the engine breathe a little bit better, and tweaking that ECU all help to unleash the huge potential that these things have hidden deep inside them. Okay, yes, like the Fiat, these things can have a interesting reputation when it comes to reliability, especially if the person in the driver's seat lacks any mechanical sympathy. But when plenty in the racing and rally community swear by the STI to bag them stage wins and championships, yet for the rest of us they're equally as adept at carting groceries or securing pole position at the IKEA pickup bay, this Subaru hot hatch is more than worthy of this list. Next up is a car that many discredit because of its extremely humble and not very performance-orientated nameplate, but look, chances are these people have never driven this car. It's the Ford Fiesta ST. For this budget, you're going to be looking at either a low-kilometre, excellent condition 6th generation, or with some serious haggling, maybe even a second-hand 7th generation. Either way, look, they're both brilliant little pocket rockets that are more than worthy of the immense acclaim that they received from the world's motoring press. Actually, I really regret selling mine because it was a truly brilliant car, and I'm in the very fortunate position to have driven a whole bunch of hot hatches both on track and enthusiastically on-road, and the Fiesta ST, it's one of the greats. If ever a car proved that you don't need outright straight line performance to have fun behind the wheel, it's the Fiesta ST. But even in saying that, it's still no slouch in a straight line. Plus, thanks to its small dimensions, it's really easy to park. It makes great use of its internal space, so it's genuinely practical. And even visually, it's not too shouty about its performance credentials, yet it's still clearly more special than its economy car Fiesta siblings. And speaking of siblings, it was a very, very tough call between the Fiesta ST and its bigger brother Focus ST. But we feel that while the Focus, look, it's clearly faster and more practical, the Fiesta is arguably just more outright fun. Plus, we'll let our number one pick look after the extra pace and practicality attributes. Actually, before we get to number one, can you please do us a favor and hit those like, subscribe, and bell icon buttons? It helps us out immensely. And after the video, go and check us out on the socials. Okay, taking out this list, even though all of these cars are awesome, it's the Volkswagen Mark 7 Golf R. Like the Ford brothers, it was a tough call between the Mark 7 Golf R or the Mark 7.5 Golf GTI. But with the R's ability to nearly perfectly blend its incredible all-wheel drive performance abilities with near luxury levels of interior fit and finish, it just pipped the GTI by the tiniest of margins. The Golf R might potentially be all the car anyone would ever need. Subtle yet classy good looks, 5-door practicality, a decent sized boot, great levels of tech, all fiercely launched down the road by a powerful turbocharged 2-litre 4-cylinder engine. And then, thanks to its Haldex 4Motion 4-wheel drive systems and performance-tuned suspension, there's the way it just completely obliterates corners, all while looking suave and sophisticated, keeping you secure and comfy in its leather-lined seats. But start tweaking the R even a little bit, and these things can become genuine giant killers. With the right mods, 11-second quarter-mile times are completely achievable. Okay, look, yes, a GTI is arguably more fun, and its twin brother from another mother, the Audi S3, is more luxurious, but we just feel that the Golf R nails that perfect balance. And that's what we feel a hot hatch is all about, balance. It's performance mixed with hatchback practicality, but the Golf R also injects this level of class and sophistication, and for this budget, it's really hard to beat. As long as you ignore the water pump problems and electronic gremlins and a few other issues, but yeah, we'll ignore those for now. Now guys, look, we obviously try to make this list as objective as we possibly could, but when the cars are this good, a certain level of subjectivity does come into it, which is why we want to know what makes up your top 5 hot hatch list. Let us know in the comments, but remember, they've got to be internationally and readily available, but yeah, let us know in the comments. Anyway guys, again, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to ask that favor again. Can you please hit those like, subscribe, and bell icon buttons? It really means the world to us. And after this, go and check us out on the socials. See ya. Let's set some ground rules first. Well, look, before we answer that, let's set... Well, I made a weird noise in my throat. The great news is that with the... But flip those rear seats down, and the little... If I just halve the speed, I'll actually be able to say the words. Why did I write a script where I've got to say the 3 when my mouth won't make those noises? Just for consumer consumption, Mr. Bond. A Mark 7.5 Why can't I say 5? 5. Just be from the heart, Morris, from the heart. Here we go.